December 1st is World AIDS Day. The day is marked to remind the world that AIDS is still prevalent and so is the stigma around it. The world has made strides in eradicating the disease, but there's still more to be done. Our next report brings you everything.
December 1st is World AIDS Day. World AIDS Day is marked to spread awareness about the disease and remember those who have died because of it. It is also a day to fight the stigma surrounding AIDS. Remember when it was discovered in 1982. It was called GRID, Gay-Related Immune Deficiency. The name was changed later that year, but the stigma remained. AIDS is still thought of as a disease that affects the LGBTQ+ community, sex workers and drug addicts. It wasn't given the attention it deserved when it surfaced, because it primarily affected vulnerable minorities. Only when it began spreading to the rest of the population was it taken seriously. These are still mistakes made today. It isn't some divine punishment, but a disease that needs to be stopped. Let's look at how the world has dealt with the AIDS epidemic. Around 650,000 people died because of AIDS in 2021. A huge number, but a massive improvement from the peak of about 2 million deaths in 2004. 1.5 million people became infected with AIDS last year. Less than half the peak of 3.2 million new cases in 1996. 28.7 million people are being treated for AIDS, over 20 million more than in 2010. India has done better than the rest of the world when it comes to fighting AIDS. Let's look at some stats. AIDS prevalence among adults in India has reduced drastically in the last decade. It has gone down from 0.32% to 0.21%. The number of people living with AIDS in India is down by almost 300,000. The number of deaths caused by AIDS is down to almost a fifth of the 2010 figures. But what else can be done? First, let's talk about prevention. How does AIDS spread? Only through the exchange of bodily fluid, like while engaging in sexual intercourse, or blood in case of sharing a used syringe with an HIV-positive person, or from an HIV-positive mother to their child, either during the pregnancy, birth, or while breastfeeding. All of these can be prevented by using protection during sex, by always insisting on a fresh, disposable syringe, and by taking drugs during and after pregnancy. There is still a lot of misinformation that surrounds the disease. Let us debunk some myths. Just being in the same location as an HIV-positive person cannot lead to infection. Sharing food or water does not spread the disease either. It does not spread by touch, nor because of insects. It is essential to know these facts to prevent both infection and ostracization. Earlier today, we spoke to Dr. Ishwar Gilada for his insights. Dr. Gilada is the person who first warned India about the AIDS epidemic in 1985. He spoke of India's AIDS prevention record in the last few decades.
India has done very well up to 2010 or 15 for prevention campaign. But thereafter, the focus has been shifted to treatment. And we have close to 650 antiretroviral therapy centers. We have close to 2,500 link centers. We have more than 4,000, 3,600 ICTC or integrated counseling testing centers. But the focus on prevention has been reduced. And therefore, what has happened, which we see currently, that more and more young people are getting infected.
His advice takes us back to the old adage, prevention is better than cure. The World Health Organization has a target to ensure AIDS is not a health threat by 2030. Countries like India are leading the way, but of course there's more work to be done. In the fight against new diseases like COVID, we cannot forget older ones like AIDS, especially when we've been making progress for so long. This is not the time to drop the ball on eradicating AIDS. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.